So what is Mystery Babylon?
That's one area where we're going to disagree with each other, probably.
That's what they want to hear.
Many take it as literal Babylon, that Babylon will one day be rebuilt in the future, become the great commercial center of the world, become the headquarters of the Antichrist, and certainly ancient Babylon was a major evil city, etc. But even by the time of John, it was not a major city that was having a major commercial influence in the world. I think he uses Babylon as a code word for Rome in the book of Revelation, because he says it's the city that sits on 7 hills, and it's the city that rules over the whole world. Rome was a city that literally ruled over the whole world at that time. If you were a Roman citizen, you were considered a citizen of the city of Rome, not the empire. And so because he calls it Mystery Babylon, I think it's a clue that you're not supposed to take it literally.
The whole Babylon! That's what you were! The whole Babylon!
Now let me ask you something. Is America Babylon?
Is America Babylon? I can't really say with a short answer, so I'm not going to really answer that.
But now there's a prophecy for Babylon to be fulfilled. You understand? So what then is going to, for the prophecy to be fulfilled is that Babylon's going to be destroyed, correct? So what
Revelation.
So what then at the end, what nation is going to be destroyed for their sins, for their crimes?
I don't know. You tell me.
I'm asking you, saying you don't know.
You tell me. What
I'm saying. So just to be on the same page, you don't know.
You talking about Babylon to be destroyed, correct?
I'm asking you, right? So now, has the prophecy been fulfilled yet for Babylon to be destroyed?
No, because we see it in Revelation. So yeah, no, it hasn't.
So we see it in Revelation. So that means that it's coming, correct?
Yes.
All right. Is America Babylon? We're going to jump right into this. So as I usually do, I have things color coordinated for you to follow along. Real quick. So when you see the black, it's something that's being made known or revealed. Purple is in regards to, this Babylon that we are uncovering, this mystery or this judgment about Babylon, and the beasts, waters, and kings is blue. But before we actually jump into the topic, I have to actually bring up, mysteries and them being revealed, because this is one precursor that doesn't get followed. A lot of us want to be the prophet, but we're replacing the prophets with incorrect prophecy. Romans 16:25. Now to him that is of power to establish you according to my Besorah and the preaching of Yahushua HaMashiach according to the revelation of the mystery, which was kept secret since the world began, but now is made manifest by the scriptures of the prophets according to the commandment of the everlasting Elohim, made known to all nations for the obedience of faith. From this, we see that mysteries are revealed, made known by the scriptures of the prophets. It's not made known through YouTube videos. It's not made known through, especially not no pastor. It's made known through the scriptures. Mark 4:11. And he said unto them, unto you it is given to know the mystery of the kingdom of Elohim. Notice that it's to know the mystery of the kingdom of Elohim. It doesn't mean that you don't know who's inheriting the kingdom. Apply that same logic to Babylon. You know that it's Babylon, but it's a mystery about Babylon. But you're going to see. But unto them that are without, all these things are done in parables. Parables are like mysteries. It's kind of like speaking slang and you don't understand the slang. It's a mystery to the unknowing person. Romans 11:25. This is one of my favorites. For I would not, brethren, that you should be ignorant of this mystery, lest you should be wise in your own conceits. That blindness in part, and this is the parable here, that blindness in part has happened to Israel. Now, this is not literal blindness. This is not an entire nation of people that are like Ray Charles. This is the parable. It's not literal blindness. But the point of this You have a lot of people that are wise in their own conceits, meaning they're only wise to themselves. They do not know the scriptures, or they know it in part, in fraction. So they're half right, half wrong, but they're so prideful they don't even know the mystery. So we're going to start this mystery off with the first paragraph in chapter 17 of the book of mysteries to be revealed, the book of Revelation. This is how the book got its name. It's full of mysteries that need to be revealed. That's why I did that work, to show how they are to be revealed through the scriptures. America's Babylon is not a mystery that's revealed through the scriptures. Again, book, chapter, verse, put it in the comments. I'm waiting on it. Been waiting 10 years. I haven't seen it. Revelation 17:5. And upon her, this is great city Babylon, forehead was the name written. We have mystery. We have Babel the Great. And then we have the mother of harlots and abominations in the earth. What people are doing is they're jumbling this together. It's three separate things. It's mystery, Babylon the Great, and the mother of harlots. What they're doing is they're saying just mystery Babylon, but it's not what we read. One thing is mystery, the other is Babylon the Great. What they're doing is they're creating this mystery Babylon, meaning there's an unknown Babylon for us to then figure it out and make up our own. Verse 7. And the angel said unto me, wherefore did you marvel? I will tell you the mystery of the woman. Notice here, this confirms this mystery is of the woman. Not just that, but also of the beast that carries her, which has 7 heads and 10 horns. Notice how this is a parable. This is not a literal woman sitting on the beast with 7 heads and 10 horns. This is what needs to be revealed, but using the scriptures. Verse 3. So he carried me away, this is the angel, in the Ruach into the wilderness, and I saw, he's seeing something's being revealed to him, a woman. Okay, this woman is Babylon. This woman is sitting again upon a scarlet colored beast full of names and blasphemy, having again 7 heads and 10 horns. You see, this is why I had to also attach that subject with this, because when you know the 7 heads and 10 horns, you know that this has absolutely nothing to do with America. Verse 1. And there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, come hither, I will reveal unto you the judgment of the great whore that sits upon many waters. See how this judgment is of the great whore? But where we saw it in verse 7, it says this mystery is of the woman. It's not saying it's a mystery absent we don't know who the woman is, because then that would contradict the fact that it's Babylon. That would be a blatant contradiction. The mystery is of Babylon, not a mystery of a Babylon that we get to then figure out and guess all these different type of locations. Come on. Let's get some definitions real quick. So Revelation 17:15. And he said unto me, the waters which you saw, again revealed, where the whore sits, are peoples, multitudes, nations, and tongues. Today we're going to see who these peoples, nations, multitudes, and tongues are. Therefore, again, using the scriptures, therefore we can stop thinking that it's America. It's literally, these definitions are revealing the mystery as to, what's going on here. So we don't think this is a literal beast. Verse 18. And the woman which you saw is that great city. You see, the last time I checked, America is a whole entire long continent. North America, South America. It's a continent. This is talking about a city which reigned over the kings of the earth. That actually connects with peoples, nations, and tongues, because what are kings rulers of? Peoples, multitudes, and nations. This all just lines up. Chapter 18, verse 21. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, Thus with violence shall that great city Babylon. So it's defining this woman, which is this city, which is literally Babylon, be thrown down. Notice it's red because this is the mystery about Babylon. It is a judgment that this city, again, will be, it's basically going to catch a fade and shall be found no more at all. That's what's going on here. This is a mystery, a judgment about a city named Babylon. Not a mystery as to who Babylon is. That would contradict, again, the fact that it's Babylon. So in understanding, we have to start with the nation of Israel and the temple, because that's the foundation or cornerstone to how this just explodes with all of these other nations that Babylon is over. So let's get right into it. 2 Chronicles 2, starting at verse 5. And the house which I build is great, for great is our Elohim above all Elohim. But whom is able to build him a house, seeing the heavens and the heavens of heavens cannot contain him? Who am I then that I should build him a house, save only to burn sacrifices for him? So the question here would be, what is the house called for the Most High? The temple. The beginning of this starts with the Most High's temple being built. 2 Chronicles 2 and 7. This is, again, they're constructing the temple. It says, Send me now therefore a man cunning to work in gold and in silver and in brass and in iron and in purple and crimson and blue. That's it in relevant parts. So we're familiar with this blue and this purple and this crimson. It was in the tabernacle. It actually represents the Most High. The blue is the comfort, the mercy, the grace. The wisdom is connected with the water, the wind. Whereas the red is God's wrath. When he's pissed off, he's got to destroy. He's got to basically chastise somebody. The purple is royalty, knowing when it's time to go red and when it's time to go blue. That's real easy. But this is not about that. What this is really about is this gold, silver, brass, and iron. You see, this is the same thing that you will see in Daniel chapter 2, which goes a little something like this. This image's head was of fine gold, and his breast and his arms of silver, and his belly and thighs of brass, and his legs of iron, and his feet part of iron and part clay. Now, I try to color coordinate this so you can follow along, knowing that the gold is gold, the silver is silver, the brass is brown, and the iron is black. So let's continue. Now remember, we are leaving off with the construction of the Most High's temple. Now watch what happens. 2 Kings 25, starting at verse 8. And in the 5th month, on the 7th day of the month, which is the 19th year of King Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon. Well, is that not what we're talking about today? Babylon? This is why I had to start with the temple and then move forward from that, because watch what's about to happen. And Nebuzaradan, captain of the guard, a servant of the king of Babel, unto Jerusalem, and he burnt the house of Yah and the king's house and all the houses of Jerusalem, and every great man's house he burnt with fire. So this is the importance of that. The things that were in the Most High's house, the gold, the silver, the brass, the iron, was burnt down by the king of Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar. Very simple and easy to follow when you read the accounts. But let's keep it pushing. 2 Kings 24 and 13. Let's see what happens. And he, Nebuchadnezzar, carried out thence all the treasures. Again, it's treasures is like that: gold, silver, brass, iron, of the house of Yah. So he basically jacked the Most High's house, and the treasures of the king's house, and cut in pieces all the vessels of gold which Solomon, the king of Israel, had made in the temple of Yah. We just read that. So Daniel 2 and 31 through 33 is where you get the statute, which is beginning with King Nebuchadnezzar. A lot of people will, focus on just the image and say, oh, this is this nation and this is that nation. There's an old video, matter of fact, a documentary style video. It's got good editing, but a lot of the information is wrong. What people will do is start researching history, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's what the prophet is talking about. I made that mistake too. Again, what people are doing is they're going through history because they want to be the prophet, but they're rejecting what the actual prophet wrote, and then they're getting a lot of things wrong because they're doing too much history search and not enough Bible search. So let's get started. Daniel 2 and 36. And wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowls of the heavens has he given into your hands, and has made you ruler over them all. You are this head of gold. The you here is King Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon. He's being called this head of gold. It directly expresses it. He's the one at the top. Common sense. Remember, this whore is above many waters. That's the definition. The definition of waters is peoples, nations, multitudes, and tongues. This literally is drawing out how this is happening. Daniel 5 and 16. O King, the Most High Elohai gave Nebuchadnezzar, your father, a kingdom. So we have a king, and it's mentioning his father, Nebuchadnezzar. Right below it, Daniel 5 and 22. And you, his son, O Belshazzar, have not humbled your heart. It's a father-son kingdom. It's like Sanford and Son. You got Fred and Lamont, you got Nebuchadnezzar and Belshazzar. These are your two heads of Babylon. It says it in writing. Again, I'm following all of the instructions. I'm using the scriptures so that these mysteries will be made known. Remember that. Next, we have Daniel 5 and 28. It says, your kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and Persians. Who's the your? Daniel 5 and 30. And that night was Belshazzar, that's the your, the king of the Chaldeans, slain. And this will be Darius, the Mede, took the kingdom. So we see that it's no longer Babylon, and it's going to Persia. A lot of y'all will, speak and make videos and be like, oh, the second kingdom is Persia. Don't even know how, because you're regurgitating what somebody else said.
Who then was the chest and arms of silver? Well, who conquered Babylon? Despite Nebuchadnezzar's desires and ambitions, Babylon did not continue forever. It was eventually conquered by the Medo-Persian Empire led by Cyrus the Great, who ruled from 539 BC to 331 BC.
So Daniel 11:2. And now I will show you the truth. Behold, there shall stand up yet 3 kings in Persia, and the 4th shall be far richer than they all. That's it for now. So why am I reading this? Because this is showing us the number of kings that the Persians would have. You see, the first 2 kings of Babylon, father and son, the son was killed. That seals it up as 2 kings, 2 heads of Babylon. The Persians have 4 main heads. Let's find out who those 4 main heads are by name using the scriptures. One thing you won't see in the scriptures is this NATO, EU, blah, blah, wooty whoop, whatever people are, again, people are wise in their own conceits. It's not what the book is talking about. Ezra 6:14, Bravo. And they built and finished it according to the commandment of the Elohim of Israel, Yasharal, and according to the commandment of Koresh, Darius, and Artachshashta, king of Persia. These are your first 3 kings of Persia mentioned in Daniel 11:2. They're provided by name. Then it said the 4th shall be richer than they all. Let's find out who the 4th one is using the scriptures. Esther 1, starting at verse 2. That in those days when the king Achashverosh sat on the throne of his kingdom. Well, let's find out what this kingdom is, which was in Shushan, the palace. In the 3rd year of his reign, he made a feast unto all his princes and his servants, the power of Persia and Medes. This is your 4th king that's richer than they all. Let's prove that part. Very next verse 4. When he showed the riches of his glorious kingdom and the honor of his excellent majesty many days. That's it right there. This is your 4th rich king. These are the names of your 4 I'm going to say heads of Persia using the scriptures. I still haven't seen NATO, EU, nothing about America yet. Now, the next kingdom, Daniel 11:2. I'm just going to pick up where we left off. You know, the 4th king of the Persians would be far richer than they all. By his strength, through his riches, he shall stir up all against the realm of Yawan. Yawan is how you say you're Greeks. Actual Greeks, the son of Japhet. Nothing to do with Edom. 11:3. And a mighty king, 1, shall stand up, that shall rule with great dominion and do according to his will. That's important, the his will. We have to find out who this king is. This is in 1 Maccabees 1 from the top. And it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Kittim, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and the Medes, that he reigned in his stead the first over Yawan, that one first king. We have him by name, Alexander, son of Philip. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your 7 heads. This is how Babylon is over people's nations and, tongues, multitude. It's through the vision of Nebuchadnezzar interpreted by Daniel. It is not to be interpreted by some camp member or a couple of guys sitting on some show guessing up stuff. These are your 7 heads that's carrying the beast. I kind of have to isolate Greece for a second because this part really confuses a lot of people. Okay, and the reason why is because of YouTube and people guessing. People are guessing that the fourth metal, the iron, is wrong, but Daniel never said anything about that. No scripture says that. That's just what YouTube is saying.
Who conquered Greece? On June 22nd, 168 BC, at the Battle of Pydna, the empire of Alexander the Great, 144 years after his death, perished under the iron monarchy of Rome. In verse 40 of Daniel 2, Daniel says that this fourth kingdom shall be as strong as iron, inasmuch as iron can break and shatter everything in pieces. Iron can crush gold, silver, and bronze. Rome was the greatest empire of antiquity.
The fourth beast is connected to the third beast, which is why I'm isolating the third beast. Let's get cooking. This runs parallel with chapter 7. The gold with the lion with the wings, the silver with the bear, and Greece would be the leopard. All right, so just showing that real quick, dealing with this leopard, which is the brass. Daniel 7 and 6. Let's look at this leopard. After this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. Now Daniel 8 and 20, it's like an internal Daniel, precept with this. It solidifies it, but then reveals it through this other parable. Okay, the ram which you saw having 2 horns are the kings of the Medes and Persians. See, it's literally revealing it. And the rough goat is the king of Yawan. And the great horn that is between his eyes is the first king. Well, we have the first king by name when it actually came to pass. You see, with this provides definitions also. When you see wing and head and horn, these are all synonyms to mean king, because Nebuchadnezzar was this head of gold. Wings symbolize, height, elevation, authority over people. Same thing with the horn of an animal. It's the exalted part of that animal. It's more essentially authoritative. So we saw 1 Maccabees 1 and 1 when it came to pass with this first king, which is Alexander, son of Philip, the first king of the Greeks. Again, going back to Daniel 8, we see that again, this first king, it's the same account. It's literally right here. You can see them both simultaneously. This is prophecy and prophecy coming to pass. Then we also have now in Daniel chapter 8, now that being broken, talking about the king of Greece, whereas 4 stood up for it, 4 kingdoms shall stand up out of the nation, but not in its power. Okay, so what does this mean? This broken? It's right here in 1 Maccabees 1 and 7. So Alexander, the first king, reigned 12 years and then died. And his servants bore rule, everyone in his place. Literally like it was prophesied in Daniel chapter 8. When he died, that was him, quote unquote, being broken. And then his replacements were his servants, the four kingdoms. It's literally right here, having nothing to do with America. Then 1 Maccabees 1 and 9. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years. And evils were multiplied in the earth. Notice the color change. It's literally transitioning to the 4th kingdom as we read. because it says that these 4 kingdoms are not going to rule like Alexander. They're not ruling in his power. This is another assumption. People think it has to be conquer, conquer, conquer. No, it doesn't.
Who conquered Greece? On June 22nd, 168 BC, at the Battle of Pydna, the empire of Alexander the Great, 144 years after his death, perished under the iron monarchy of Rome. In verse 40 of Daniel 2, Daniel says that this 4th kingdom shall be as strong as iron, inasmuch as iron can break and shatter everything in pieces. Iron can crush gold, silver, and bronze. Rome was the greatest empire of antiquity.
It doesn't need to be conquered, because we see that he passed away, and after he died, things changed. Nobody needed to be conquered. He just left the natural way. How do we know this? Because finally in verse 10, and there came out of them, the successors to his, to Alexander, out of them a wicked root, Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king, who had been a hostage at Rome, and he reigned in the 137th year of, is it Rome? No, it's the kingdom of Yawan. It's still Greece, but it's another kingdom. What makes it another kingdom? Because it's not the way Alexander ruled. People think that, just because people say so, that the 4th kingdom is divided Rome. I hear that. I don't even know, whatever, but you don't read that. The kingdom that's divided was Greece. You had the way Alexander ruled, and then the way his servants and their sons ruled. They're the same nationality, but a different kingdom. Because we read this. We did not come across Rome. Again, I made that mistake before because I can admit that, again, I knew history, but that's just not what Daniel was talking about. Daniel 11:4. And when he shall stand up, his kingdom shall be broken. That's when he died. Talking about Alexander. And shall be divided toward the 4 winds, and not to his prosperity. It's literally telling us that this is not according to the way Alexander ruled. This is I don't know how much proof people need, but again, it's like doctrines on YouTube is more powerful than the Bible. Nor according to his dominion, which he ruled. It's mapping this out. For his kingdom shall be plucked up. They're the same nationality, but it's literally telling you his kingdom is plucked up for others besides those. That would be the 4 servants that he had. I'm not going to get into the names of them because I don't really want to make this longer than what it needs to be. So we're going to keep it pushing. But just know that there's 4 servants. You had a divided Greece, not a divided Rome. So bringing everybody back in, you have your 7 heads. This is your 3-headed eagle: Babylon, Persia, and Greece. When Alexander died, aka broken, as we read through the scriptures, basic 1st grade mathematics, 7 minus 1 is 6. After that, the 4 servants put crowns upon their heads. 6 plus 4 is 10. That's your 10 horns. The difference between a head and a horn: a head is a first king. That's why Alexander, it showed him being called the first king twice. These are the first kings. You even have a book in the Bible called First Kings. but that's with Israel or whatever. But again, ahead is the first kings. The four successors to Alexander, how are they first kings? They're not. So they only get called horns along with the first 6 kings to make 10 horns. I don't know this is just so simple when you use precepts. If you didn't understand that, run it back. Then Antiochus Epiphanes was the little horn that we all know about. So I didn't really need to put this in here, but I did it just because somebody might wonder. His legs of iron and his feet part of iron and part clay. That one documentary that I mentioned says something about it just listed a bunch of random nations. No book, chapter, verse, of course.
The legs of iron was Rome. Who conquered Rome? Verse 41 of Daniel 2 says that this fourth kingdom will not be conquered as much as it shall be divided. We now know that the fourth kingdom was Rome. If we go down history and find that Rome was indeed divided and not conquered, then we cannot deny the truth that this book that declared it from the past is a supernatural book. So was Rome conquered or was Rome divided? Rome was, in fact, not conquered from without, but was divided from within. By 285 AD, the Roman Empire had grown so vast that it was no longer feasible to govern all the provinces from the central seat of Rome. The Emperor Diocletian divided the empire in half, with the Eastern Empire governed out of Byzantium, later known as Constantinople, and the Western Empire governed from Rome. Not only was Rome divided in half, but from 351 AD to 476 AD, Rome was picked apart and divided even more by 10 barbarian tribes, which became 10 countries in Europe. Divided Rome is the feet, partly of iron and partly of potter's clay. Now, I thought it was interesting that Rome was divided into 10 countries at the feet era of this prophecy. Is it a coincidence that feet have 10 toes? Very, very interesting. Who are these 10 tribes? The Alemanni today are the Germans. The Burgundians are the Swiss. The Franks are the French. The Lombards are now the Italians. The Saxons became the English. The Suevi today are the Portuguese. The Visigoths are now the Spanish. The Heruli, the Ostrogoths, and the Vandals are now extinct, which was later prophesied by Daniel in chapter 7. All of these barbarian tribes today form divided Rome, or what we now call Europe. This is the feet and toes, partly of iron and partly of potter's clay.
Over here on this side, we have book, chapter, verse. Going back to the Maccabees, right? We've established using the scriptures, there's a divided Greece. How does this connect with the clay? Because the clay is mingled with the iron when it comes to the feet. So this is why we're picking up where we left off. It says, after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. We should be familiar with this. This is the key thing here. So did their sons after them many years, and the evils were multiplied in the earth. Check that. Keeping it moving. And there came out of them a wicked, evil, wicked root. Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, this is your little horn, son of Antiochus the king, who had been a hostage at Rome. This is the kingdom of the Greeks. This is the more wicked Greeks that we are more familiar with. Now, verse 11. You're going to see wicked matched up with wicked. In those days went there out of Yasharal, Israel, wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, let us go and cut a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. Who is the heathen round about them? These wicked ass Greeks. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. This shows that the nation of Israel is then mingling with the iron. They cut a covenant to go back and join the heathen. But let's make sure that it's the nation of Israel, because we can have more than one witness. Jeremiah 18:6. O house of who? Yasharal, Israel. Cannot I do with you as this potter, says Yahweh? Behold, as the clay is in the potter's hand, so are you in my hand, O house of Israel. This is the nation of Israel being called the clay. We saw that these wicked Greeks, contrary to the way Alexander ruled, these wicked Greeks are cutting a covenant with these wicked Israelites. The feet, the clay, and the iron. I mean, it's all there. When we stop looking at all these random ass history books and look at the prophecy books, it's all there and it's all clear. You might fight or tussle with this, and that's just your indoctrination. The book doesn't lie. Everything in this thus far has been read. Take it up with the Most High. Now we're going to go back to where we started to draw this together. Remember when we were in Revelation 17 from the top? It said that there was, a judgment being shown of the great whore that sits upon many waters. And then the waters were defined as peoples, multitudes, nations, and tongues. Well, we have those peoples, multitudes, nations, and tongues. This whore, this city, Babylon, is above the Persians, the Greeks, and the nation of Israel. It's like the long math version, but you can't deny that the Bible identifies these kings by name. 7 heads. 1 head was knocked off. You have 4 more added. The 4 added can't be heads. 10 horns. The clay. The book tells you the clay is the nation of Israel. Y'all just won't like it because it's not the typical YouTube indoctrination. The lazy nonsense. Remember, it's the honor of kings to search out a matter. Now, there's more elements to this also in the book of Revelation. Again, chapter 17, we're going to go to verse 15. And here is the mind which has wisdom. We're going to see, using this wisdom, how this lines up with this verse. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sits. That's why I had to do the long math version. Because you can't deny that the Bible calls them out, especially by name. Well, you can deny it. You'll just be a damn fool. It tells you that there's 7 kings. 5 are fallen. 1 is, and the other is not yet come. And when he comes, he must continue a short space. So from this, what stands out is that you have 5 that are fallen. 1 is, and the other is not yet come. This is past, present, future. The 5 that are fallen, the 1 that is, and the 1 is not yet come. This lines up perfectly through the eyes of Daniel, because Daniel is the initial prophet to prophesy about the 7 heads and 10 horns. Y'all are ignoring Daniel. Put some respect on Daniel's name. He's telling you who these people are, but y'all just saying bump that. YouTube is more exciting and entertaining. I'll just rock with what they say. And get mad at people that are showing you the actual truth by name, using precepts. You have the 2 kings of Babylon, father and son. The son was killed, then the Persians come in. It was divided 3-1. There was 3 kings and then the 1 that will be far richer. The first 3 kings of Persia and the 2 kings of Babylon are your past tense kings. The 4th rich king is in the present at a specific time through the eyes again of Daniel. The future king would then be Alexander. This lines up perfect. Perfect. It's right there. Verse 15 and everything that's been revealed to us. I would pay to hear how this just is wrong, or how still America is Babylon. Because with all of this, there's no way to still think that America's Babylon. Y'all just, our people are just sometimes an embarrassment, but enough of that. There's also mention of an eighth king. This eighth king is, again, your little horn that, again, it was provided to us, Antiochus Epiphanes. So we're going to slide across to the three-headed eagle. This section is in 2nd Esdras. How does this connect with what we're talking about? It's just going to reestablish and reconfirm everything that we've gone over. Again, the stubborn people are the stubborn people that prefer YouTube incorrect camp doctrine versus what the book says. 2nd Esdras or 4th Ezra 11:1. Then I saw a dream, and behold, there came up from the sea an eagle which had 12 feathered wings and 3 heads. The three-headed eagle. Chapter 12, verse 10. And he said unto me, this is the interpretation of the vision. The eagle whom you saw come up from the sea. Wait a minute, just for a second. Notice how the interpretation is being revealed by the prophet. You see what I'm saying? It is the kingdom which was seen in the vision of your brother Daniel. It's literally saying, okay, to understand this, you can also still look at Daniel. This is why we're dealing with this right now. For the naysayers, they still going to naysay, but people are childish. But it was not expounded unto him, therefore now I declare it unto you. So he's going to expound on what Daniel prophesied about. 4th Ezra 11:1. This three-headed eagle is going to have 12 feathered wings and 3 heads. With the three-headed eagle, I've already gave it away. It's Babylon, Persia, and Greece. There's there's denying it. A fool will deny the fact that the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. But it's in the book. Let's expound on this three-headed eagle first. So, 4th Ezra 12:22. And whereas you saw 3 heads resting, this is the interpretation. No, come up with your own interpretation. No, it's about to follow. Verse 26. And whereas you saw that the great head appeared no more, it signifies that one of them shall die upon his bed, and yet with pain. For the 2 that remain shall be slain with the sword. For the sword of the one shall devour the other, but at the last there shall he fall through the sword himself. Y'all don't even realize we've already covered this. It's just going to confirm that it's Babylon, Persia, and Greece. So let's go over back. We're basically just reviewing at this point. So let's go back to Babylon and Persia. Let's see how these men died, okay? And that night was Belshazzar, the king of the Chaldeans, slain, and Darius the Mede took the kingdom. Very simple. We literally already read this. When it shifted from Babylon to Persia, the way it was done was by the sword. We have to find out the second, because it says 2 are going to be slain with the sword. Who's the other? Let's go back and find out. So after this is the next account. 1 Maccabees 1:1. All we did was just review. And it happened after that, Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Kittim, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes. So he was smitten. This is your second king that was killed by the sword. Then there's the one that's left who's going to die sick and with pain. Process of elimination. We've already read that. So after this, First Maccabees 1 and 5, and then skip to verse 7. And after these things he fell sick and perceived that he should die. Verse 7. So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died. Nobody killed him. He died sick in the bed with pain. This confirms this is your three-headed eagle. No matter if your camp likes it or not. Whatever camp that has a so-called breakdown of this and is somehow Rome or this or that and whatever, book, chapter, verse. Y'all need to require these groups to book, chapter, verse. Y'all just like to hear them talk and rock with whatever they say when they wrong. So now we're going to switch from the three-headed eagle to the 12 under feathered wings, okay? Remember when I showed this and I said that, wing is synonymous with king? That's basically what this is going to be. And yes, we've already hit all of these kings. Let's keep it pushing. So he basically is going to do like how Daniel did, but instead of switching it, 7 heads minus 1 makes it 6. But then these 4 came, that's the 10 horns. Instead of him doing it the way Daniel did it, he's just going to have them all, which comes out to 12. Let's find out. So, again, Babylon, this is all we're doing at this point is reviewing. It's going to confirm everything. Babylon had 2 kings, father and son. Persians had four kings, 4 heads, okay? That's half of them right there. The Greeks started out with 1, then added 4 more, which is 11 total. After that 11, you had a wicked root, Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes. That's number 12. Because Epiphanes is the son through many generations of the 4 kings. It's literally follow the drip, follow the drip. Those are your 12 underwings, okay? Now, there's more to this. And I know, like, I just got to put it out. Like, I know people will hate this because, man, they yelling and screaming on the street. I like that. That's right. Hey, I know y'all like all of that. None of that is book. 4th Ezra 12 and verse 19. And whereas you saw the 8 small under feathers sticking to her wings, this is the interpretation. Nah, come up with your own interpretation. That in him there shall arise 8 kings whose time shall be but small and their years swift. Then it goes into, 2 of them shall perish, the middle time approaching. 4 shall be kept until their end begin to approach, but 2 shall be kept until the end. These 8 kings, again, all Ezra is doing is pointing out the same thing that Daniel's already told us. But Daniel and Ezra and John the Revelator never said anything about America. It's divided 2, 4, then 2. That's the key thing. 2, father and son. It's the same thing over and over. 4, the 4 kings of Persia. Then you had the 2 kings of the Greeks. The first, which is, Alexander. It literally said he's the first. This all ended with Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, the wicked root. It's the same damn thing. Babylon, Persia, and Greece, and the nation of Israel as the clay. I really didn't mean for this if it seemed too much. You can always review a video if you literally have a genuine ear to hear. If you're just a camp follower, well, this is not intended for you because it's coming out of the book. But if you have anything to say, of course, use the comments. Just, I don't care about how people feel. Don't tell me what you've heard, what you've seen, what you've watched. I just don't care. If it comes out of the book, that's what I care about. But Babylon, America is laid to rest. Finally, it's just that simple. So that's all I have for now, as it is written, and I'm out.